Alright guys, today we're going to go ahead and replace this left rear spring that's broken on this 2015 Volkswagen Jetta. This is a TDI model with independent rear suspension. As you can see, the spring is broke right there. It was making a clunking noise in the rear end, so I looked back here and said, well, there's the spring broke. So the first thing you need to do is spray up this lower control arm bolt. We're going to remove that, and that will allow that lower control arm to pivot down, and that spring should pop right out. Make sure the vehicle is safely supported before you start to work on it. I have the jack here. As you can see, the lifting point, make sure you're lifting right there and not on this pinch weld. That will just cause you some issues if you decide to put your jack there. So make sure you're on that reinforced part. Okay, this nut is 18 millimeter. You can't get a socket on this nut due to the fact that this other bolt is so close to it, which is kind of dumb, but that's the way they did it. So this side though, you have enough room to get a socket on there, 18 millimeter, and then you'll need an open-ended wrench to hold that other nut on the other side. Alright, so I got that bolt out, and then this just slowly dropped down, and you can see we have two pieces. Now you'll want to save this top mount. It just simply pulls right off the top here. Use that with the new spring. You throw that away, and this other piece, just lift it right out. Might be a little stuck in there. It's stuck on that rubber mount at the bottom. Just wiggle that up on out of there. Now these are the original springs, as you can see. There's one white mark and 3 yellow marks. I think that indicates the spring rate. And always check your mounts. This mount appears to be in good condition, so I will reuse that as well as the top mount here. Here are the springs I chose, made in Sweden. It was cheaper to buy 2, so I have a spare for the other side. It does not matter which way you put it in, the top and bottom are the same. So just go ahead and put this guy in. Now when installing the spring, make sure that this end here is right up against this rubber tab sticking out here. It's gonna be a little tricky to get that in position. Just make sure it's set up that way. And for the top mount, it simply just gets pressed right in the top, and that's it. Alright guys, for this next step, what you need to do is compress this spring so that you can get your bolt in. So what you can do is, do it like I did, put some blocks under here and slowly lower that jack down, and then it will compress, and you can line it up that way. Or if you have another jack, you can just put it underneath here and compress it that way, and then wait until you line that hole up, and then you can push your bolt through. Okay, make sure that you leave enough room to get your nut on before you push that bolt any further through, or else you won't have enough room due to this bolt here. So get this started, and then you can push your bolt the rest of the way through. Alright, now it's time to torque this control arm bolt. So you can see it's just snug. These get torqued to 66 foot-pounds, and once your torque wrench clicks, then turn it an additional 90 degrees. So you have to load the suspension. So right now, this is the way I did it. I just lowered it on these 4x4s to simulate what it would be like with the wheel on, because it's not possible to get access to this bolt with the wheel on, unfortunately. At least I couldn't do it. Alright, here's my setup. I don't have an 18mm open-ended wrench, so I'm going to use this adjustable wrench. And then I won't have to worry about holding it because the pressure will be against this 4x4. Then here I have the 18mm socket on with my torque wrench. And I also have a little extension. I think this is, what is this, a 3-inch extension? Yeah. Alright, so I have that there, ready to go. And I also threw a level on the back of the car here. You can see that bubble is in the middle. So I believe I'm fairly close as far as having this suspension loaded correctly. So here we go. There's 66 foot-pounds. Got an additional 90 degrees. Okay, that's torqued. Okay, now I can put the wheel back on. Remember, the lug bolts get torqued to 89 foot-pounds. Alright guys, that completes this little task. You can see the new spring in there, everything went well. And the other old spring over there is still intact, still in decent shape. So thanks for watching guys, take care, please subscribe.